For as long as I can remember, I've been a fan of the horror movie genre. A genre that created my favorite horror movie series in Wes Craven's A Nightmare on Elm Street. But when it came to survival horror games, I was less than enthralled. Though I did enjoy the first 4 Resident Evil games, all for different reasons, and Silent Hill 2 proved to be one of the greatest feats in creating true suspense and terror digitally. Then came Supermassive Games' Until Dawn, a choose-your-own adventure featuring a group of friends stranded in the woods during the coldest of winters, with the natural and supernatural attempting to kill them all. Following a VR spin-off and a prequel to Until Dawn, the developers went back to the drawing board in regards to the gameplay, but not so much the story, for its first offering in the Dark Pictures Anthology, Man of Medan. While not as revolutionary or as memorable as its predecessor, Man of Medan seemed to be the beginning of an escalating series of better installments to come. Going from the high seas to a fog-filled New England town, I was intrigued to see if Little Hope could capitalize on the promise of Man of Medan. Like its predecessor, Little Hope gives gamers the ability to control 5 different characters during various sequences as the protagonist's intended school trip is interrupted by a bus crash, where the driver mysteriously vanishes. It doesn't take long before a majority of the game's mechanics are introduced, from character movement to object interaction to performing story-defining choices and QuickTime events. Man of Medan's choice-based bearing system returns. This game's version of Until Dawn's butterfly effect, as well as character traits like Andrew, played by Will Poulter, going from anxious to reliable. Bearings track the choices that change the overall story and determine who lives or dies. In an effort to see how well my decision-making would help a group of friends survive such a horrific experience, my initial playthrough saw me go in cold. No tips, guides, or walkthrough that would help me make the best decisions and understand what to do and where to go during certain scenarios. My second playthrough utilized the game's movie night mode, where I played with a friend locally, passing the controller back and forth when it was time to play as the characters we chose at the game's start. Both playthroughs lasted about 3 to 4 hours each. Considering the game's length, I plan on going back to attain all the collectibles, kill off all the characters. I was able to save everyone during my second playthrough, and discover all the secrets of Little Hope, something that should take another 10 or so hours. Considering how well received Until Dawn was, Supermassive Games wisely stuck with Until Dawn's presentation style while providing a different environment, characters, and a shorter runtime in regards to Man of Medan. That mindset of being a more digestible horror experience compared to Until Dawn returns with Little Hope. The player has the ability to slowly move a character around even if the player is holding down the walk faster button, interact with certain objects and people, and stare at the pause screen featuring the faces of whoever is being utilized to advance the story. Melee attacks pop up from time to time in the form of QuickTime events. QTEs are a lot more lenient compared to Man of Medan, with an animation warning appearing on the screen before the button necessary to hit is revealed. The heart monitor QTE returns as well, switching between one of 2 assigned buttons at a time. One new addition in regards to QTEs is character switching. During certain moments, the camera will change perspectives to continue a one-shot QTE that proves harrowing every time it is utilized. A perfect way to heighten the sense of dread when something potentially catastrophic could occur. The choices presented in the game range from obvious and straightforward to redundant and vague. There are moments such as opting to drink a beer that appear trivial, but the reaction will make anyone question whether or not performing the action actually means something in the grander scheme. Thankfully, Little Hope goes out of its way to inform the player when something important happens. Depending on the decision made during a particular choice, a notification will appear so the player can tap a button and read the result in the menu. This becomes incredibly helpful for future playthroughs that can reach upwards of 4 hours depending on how many people the player can keep alive for the game's majority. Unfortunately, the characters aren't as memorable compared to their Until Dawn counterparts, having rather fluctuating personalities beyond their initial presentations, including Andrew temporarily suffering from amnesia, and Daniel and Taylor having some type of romantic relationship that isn't as fleshed out as the one seen in Until Dawn. Sadly, death is not an option, as it usually takes a lot of mistakes for the characters to die until the game's final chapter, something that wasn't an issue in either Until Dawn or Man of Medan. The co-op options are where it's at when playing Little Hope. Having quick discussions or arguments over terrible potential choices made can make for a memorable experience during movie night mode. Shared story mode actually adds to the story, when playing online with a friend, as certain moments are actually solely connected to shared story mode. Not only that, but shared story mode hides the decisions of the other player. There's a great chance for more games in the genre to implement these features because they add a lot of replayability. The plethora of collectibles from Man of Medan return here, including pieces of information that adds to the game's lore, and special pictures that potentially reveal the fates of certain characters. The plot is greatly improved from Man of Medan, with various time jumps focusing on 5 characters that have doppelgangers no matter the time period, including during the time of the witch trials, that was a staple of Little Hope's history. Sadly, the spooks and scary moments are few and far between, with jump scares not being effective as they prove too predictable. The story's most horrific moments come from the town's history and less about the situations plaguing the lead characters, including the choices made that should greatly dictate the end results. By focusing on a ghost town filled with fog, a lot of Little Hope is muted in terms of color presentation compared to its predecessors, which is surprising considering Until Dawn had similar environment issues in regards to lighting and colors, and did a much better job there than here. The creepy atmosphere fades away mostly thanks to the lacking sound. While silence is a great tool for horror experiences, after 2 to 3 hours of just hearing footsteps without even a few conflicting noises like rustling leaves or growling in the distance, just makes the journey feel audibly hollow. While not the stronger successor expected coming from Man of Medan, Little Hope is a solid horror experience, stilted by lacking scares, choices that don't make significant differences until the game's finale, and some dated mechanics. Though Little Hope has some glaring issues technically, it still makes for an enjoyable experience, mostly thanks to being able to play with friends. People who enjoyed Until Dawn will more than likely find themselves quite pleased with what comes from Little Hope, especially compared to Man of Medan, but may not feel compelled to play through the game a second or third time, making this the perfect rental or something to pick up when it's on sale for half the price at least. For those who didn't care for Until Dawn or similar games, this won't change anyone's perception of what the genre can provide, especially when the scariest moment of this game is someone not knowing how to handle a gun when confronted by a ghost.
Hey! Run! Get inside! Hey! That thing is almost on you! It's right on your ass! What the fuck are you doing? Are you crazy? You trying to get yourself killed?
Get in here. Hey!